Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The sun shone through Forrester Creations' huge windows, sending a golden glow over the sleek, modern showroom where elegance and ambition mingled every day. STEFFY Forrester Finnegan stood in the heart of it all, her posture straight and powerful, her dark hair framing a face that had weathered numerous storms in both the fashion industry and her personal life. STEFFY had become the unwavering pillar of the company, serving as co-CEO alongside her father Ridge, and now heavily involved in day-to-day operations with her husband Finn by her side. She was a firm believer in keeping personal turmoil separate from professional achievement, a lesson she had learned through years of betrayals, failed relationships, and family feuds that threatened to rip Forrester apart. But now, that belief was about to be put to the test in ways she had not anticipated. The air in the executive office was thick with anxiety as Ivy Forrester strode back and forth, her Australian accent cutting her words like a designer's perfect cut. Ivy had come in Los Angeles with her niece Electra, bringing new energy to the jewelry brand, or so STEFFY thought. Electra, young and bright, with an innocent spark that reminded STEFFY of her own early days at Forrester, rapidly became a team favorite. Her designs were creative, combining old Forrester sophistication with a modern edge that appealed to a younger audience. Ivy, on the other hand, bore the weight of experience, and, it turned out, a secret goal simmering beneath her polished veneer. It began quietly. Ivy had always been quite protective of Electra. When Electra started dating Will Spencer, the son of the influential Bill Spencer, Ivy was outraged and vociferous. Will hailed from a world of media moguls and shady deals, and Ivy saw him as a diversion who may jeopardize her niece's budding career. But Ivy's protection turned to intervention when she discovered a letter Will had written to Electra, a sincere confession of his affections, full of promises of a future together. Instead of delivering it, Ivy intercepted it and stashed it in her desk drawer at Forrester Creations. She convinced herself it was for Electra's own benefit, that Will would only cause heartbreak, as so many men in their lives had done before. Electra, ignorant at first, threw her passion into her job, creating new designs late into the night. She told Ivy about her insecurities and how Will's busy life at Spencer Publications made her feel secondary. Ivy capitalized on Electra's misgivings, whispering encouraging words that gently drove her away from Will. "You deserve someone who puts you first, darling," Ivy would remark, her voice tinged with sympathy and veiled by calculation. "Forrester represents your future. Don't let a Spencer boy cloud your vision." Meanwhile, STEFFY was coping with her own problems. Under her leadership, the company thrived, with successful new product launches and international market expansion. Her marriage to Finn was a rare source of stability, and their family moments with the kids served as a reminder of what was truly important outside of the boardroom. But STEFFY had detected a developing tension in the jewelry section. Ivy and Electra had contacted her several times, demanding changes and pushing boundaries. They had even approached her over hiring decisions, urging that specific workers with prior personal connections be let go. STEFFY had abruptly shut them down, reminding them that Forrester Creations was based on merit, not grudges. "We don't mix business with personal vendettas here," she warned them, her gaze stern. "If you can't handle that, perhaps this isn't the place for you." The breaking point came when the truth about the letter was revealed. It wasn't Ivy who confessed. Secrets in Los Angeles had a way of unwinding themselves. Perhaps it was a misplaced file from a late-night design session, or perhaps Electra discovered the secret envelope while searching for inspiration at her aunt's workspace. The instant Electra read Will's words, her world changed. The genuine declarations of love, the apologies for any distance, and the goal of creating something real together hit her like a tsunami. Tears ran down her cheeks as betrayal set in. "How could you?" She faced Ivy in the silence of the design studio, her voice cracking. "You ruined my shot at happiness. You twisted me, making me mistrust the only person who saw me." Ivy attempted to explain herself, her cheeks flushed with remorse and defiance. "Electra, I was protecting you. Will Spencer is trouble. His family and lifestyle would have swallowed you. I have witnessed what men like them do to women in this town. Consider what Brooke and the others have undergone. I couldn't let that happen to you. However, her words ring hollow. Electra, who was always so trusting and willing to please, stood erect for the first time, her childhood giving way to a ferocious determination. You did not protect me. You have betrayed me. You used my anxieties against me while smiling and claiming to be family. I'm done letting you control my life. The debate spilled out of the studio and into Forrester's hallways. Whispers circulated among the workforce, with designers pausing their sketches and assistants exchanging glances. Drama was currency in the fashion business, but this seemed personal, cutting deep into the family bonds that held the Forrester dynasty together. Electra marched towards STEFFY's office, her eyes red but chin up. She'd hit her limit. If Ivy stayed at Forrester, where they had created a jewelry brand together, Electra couldn't. It's her or me, she told STEFFY plainly as she rushed in, Ivy trailing after in a state of panic and wrath. STEFFY sat behind her desk, going over fabric swatches and sales statistics, but she put them aside when she noticed the genuine passion on Electra's face. She had always respected the young woman's talent, recognizing opportunities for advancement that may benefit the entire jewelry sector. Ivy, sensing the gravity, tried to intervene. STEFFY, there is a misunderstanding. Electra is overreacting to a ridiculous letter. We are family. Blood is thicker than some boys' words, but STEFFY lifted a hand to silence her. She'd heard enough from the couple in recent weeks, their expectations, their missteps. This new admission provided a clearer picture. Ivy was more than just protective. She was a schemer, eager to undermine her own niece's happiness in order to preserve power. Enough, STEFFY murmured, her voice calm but authoritative, demanding respect. She stood and walked around the desk to confront both women. The office, with its classic Forrester photos on the walls and the aroma of fresh-cut flowers from a recent launch party, felt more like a courtroom. I gave you both opportunities here, because I believed in your abilities. Electra, your designs have the freshness we require. Ivy, your experience was supposed to lead you. But I will not allow treason within these walls. Manipulating someone's personal life, particularly their family, and introducing that toxicity into Forrester creations? That crosses a boundary. Ivy's eyes widened, and her typical calm cracked. Are you taking her side? After everything I've contributed? We worked together to rejuvenate the jewelry line. Electra wouldn't be here without me. Her words were tinged with urgency, and the accent thickened as her emotions intensified. She had overestimated STEFFY's commitment, believing that her Forrester blood would protect her from the consequences. But STEFFY had fought more difficult battles against Sheila Carter, rival enterprises, and her own heartbreaks. She understood that enabling schemers to prosper would undermine the foundation Eric Forrester had laid. Electra stood still now, her presence a gentle reminder of her anguish. Her ultimatum hung in the air, so she didn't need to say anything more. STEFFY stepped slowly, her shoes tapping on the polished floor. She reflected on her own family, including her children, her complicated relationship with Liam and Hope, and the lessons she had learned about loyalty and trust. Forrester Creations is not a playground for personal games, she said. We make beauty here. We construct empires based on innovation and ethics. If you can't maintain that, there's no place for you. Ivy, your actions have betrayed not only Electra, but the faith we invest in all of our employees. You're fired, effective immediately. The words landed like a final stitch in an outgrown garment. Ivy gasped, her hand leaping to her chest as if she had been struck. Fired? You cannot be serious. I am a Forrester. This enterprise is also my legacy. She went to Electra and pleaded. Tell her it's stupid. We can work this out as a family, Electra said, shaking her head, tears gleaming but her voice calm. No more, Aunt Ivy. You made your decision when you concealed the letter. I chose my own future, without your involvement. STEFFY watched the confrontation with sympathy and grit. She'd witnessed similar events play out throughout the years, including Hope's plots, Quinn's manipulations, and even her own prior mistakes. Each time, the company suffered as personal agendas took precedence. "Pack your things, Ivy," she replied forcefully, yet with compassion. "You may collect any personal belongings, but security will accompany you out. Forrester International's Paris office and remote options are currently closed. We need people here who build up, not destroy down from within." Ivy's expression hardened, and a flicker of the schemer STEFFY had accused her of appeared. She smoothed her fancy outfit, smoothing out hidden wrinkles, as if regaining control. "It's not over, STEFFY. Do you think you can run this place without thinking about family? Electra will see sense someday, and when she does, you'll be sorry." With that, she turned on her heel and walked out, the door closing behind her like a period at the end of a violent chapter. As a result, the office became silent. Electra slumped onto a chair and exhaled shakily. "Thank you," she muttered. "I wasn't sure who else to turn to. Working here is everything to me, but I couldn't stay if she was pulling strings behind my back." STEFFY put a hand on her shoulder, a rare moment of mentorship shining through. "You did the right thing by approaching me. Talent like yours deserves a fair chance, devoid of influence. We'll change the jewelry line, maybe promote from within, or bring in new colleagues. But more importantly, concentrate on healing. And if will is truly essential, don't let this ruin what you've built." News of the firing circulated fast across Forrester Creations. In the design rooms, sketching came to a halt as personnel discussed the drama. Ridge Forrester nodded approvingly in his office, which overlooks the hills, after hearing the news from his daughter. "STEFFY, you're doing what needs to be done," he stated over the phone. "In the past, we've allowed too many personal conflicts to spill over into work. Keep that line clear." Carter Walton, STEFFY's faithful ally and co-leader in numerous initiatives, also provided his support, reminding her that great leadership often required difficult decisions. For Electra, the days that followed were a roller coaster of emotions. She reached out to Will, using the letter as a bridge rather than a barrier. Their reconciliation was hesitant at first, causing sentiments of hurt on both sides, but genuine. Will, with his Spencer charm balanced by earnestness, promised to show himself beyond the family name. "No more secrets," he promised during a nice meal overlooking the city. Electra smiled, feeling lighter, her mind shifting back to her creations with newfound zeal. Pieces inspired by resilience and second chances began to emerge from her sketchpad, bold necklaces with interlocking links representing unbreakable relationships, earrings dangling with delicate strength. Meanwhile, STEFFY worked tirelessly to stabilize the department. She held a team meeting and addressed the personnel directly. "Forrester Creations thrives when we support each other, not when we scheme against one another," she proclaimed, her presence mesmerizing. "Ivy's leaving is tragic, but it creates opportunities for fresh ideas. Electra, I'm counting on you to carry out the vision you've demonstrated." The young designer nodded, a spark of confidence burning. Collaborations flourished. Electra collaborating with established names in the industry, her input valued, without the shadow of her aunt's influence. However, the ripples spread further. Ivy, back in her temporary flat, planned her next step. She was not one to blend into the background. Calls to old-fashioned acquaintances, thoughts of launching her own business, or even partnering with rivals such as Spencer Publications, though this came with its own risks given her stance on Will. Rumor circulated that she may file a legal challenge to her sacking, citing family ties to the Forrester name, but STEFFY's legal team was ready. In Los Angeles, where beauty and betrayal coexisted, comebacks were common, but redemption needed more than cutting words. As the weeks passed into a new chapter at Forrester, the atmosphere changed. Under Electra's leadership, the jewelry business thrived, with sales increasing thanks to new marketing emphasizing empowerment and authenticity, values STEFFY advocated for. Family reunions at the Forrester home had lighter moments, with Eric telling stories about the company's early days and reminding everyone that heritage was based on integrity, not intrigue. Finn, always the supporting husband, listened as STEFFY recounted her days, admiring of her strength. "You handled it like a true leader," he commented one evening, as their children slept close. protecting the company and giving Elektra a chance. That's what makes you incredible. Elektra's development was possibly the most significant. No longer overshadowed, she navigated her relationship with Will through open conversation, learning to express her needs without fear. Their dates were retreats from the spotlight, beach walks where they talked about dreams other than their family empires. She even rebuilt fragile links with other relatives, realizing that family might provide comfort without suffocation. Her creativity surged in the studio. One collection, named Unchained, had items that represented breaking free from concealed restraints and received high praise during a private preview. STEFFY frequently reflected about the decision in quiet moments. Firing Ivy was more than just one betrayal. It was a statement about the type of organization she wanted to run, one where ambition drove creativity rather than devastation. She recalled previous plans that had nearly ruined Forrester, the never-ending Logan Forrester feuds, corporate takeovers, and emotional entanglements that blurred boundaries. Every time, resilience won out. This experience reaffirmed her philosophy. Personal lives had their place, but at work, excellence and trust took precedence. Of course, with Los Angeles as it was, the story did not finish nicely. Ivy lingered on the periphery, her loss felt in subtle ways. The jewelry department modifying procedures, Elektra really embracing her role. Whispers speculated that Ivy would resurface with a bold new idea, such as courting international purchasers or perhaps pursuing reconciliation on her own terms. But for the time being, the corridors of Forrester reverberated with focused energy, the click of keyboards mixed with laughter from design sessions. Elektra sat at her workstation one afternoon, tweaking a prototype necklace. The metal caught the light, sparkling with possibilities. She looked at a photo on her desk of herself and Will, genuine smiles on their faces. Nearby, a note from STEFFY supported her most recent thoughts. Betrayal had hurt, but it had also built strength. She picked up her tools, eager to make something beautiful and uninhibited. STEFFY, from her office, checked the most recent reports. The numbers were high, and morale remained stable. She allowed herself a slight smile. No room for schemers. That was her new rule, engraved as plainly as any Forrester design. The company would build on its tradition of bold beauty, one honest step at a time. STEFFY had chosen integrity in a world of high fashion and deep hearts, where every decision had the potential to glitter or break. In doing so, she had paved the way for a brighter future for Elektra, the team, and Forrester Creations. The days flowed into a rhythm of production and connection. Elektra worked with new aides, mentoring them in ways Ivy never had, encouraging rather than commanding. Will made periodic visits to the showroom, and his presence was no longer a source of controversy, but rather a silent support. STEFFY gazed from afar, happy with the harmony. Nonetheless, she stayed attentive. Leadership required it. When a minor issue emerged with a supplier, she handled it quickly, influenced by the recent tumult. Backstory threads ran through the present. Ivy's past with the Forresters, her own arrivals and departures, her once impressive designs, added layers to the fire. Her contributions were undeniable, but her subsequent actions eclipsed them. Elektra, John Forrester Jr.'s daughter, inherited the genes as well, but her full ability has yet to be realized. The complicated and vast family tree served as a reminder that relationships might either bind or break. STEFFY reflected quietly on her own journey. From model to billionaire, from grief to happiness with Finn, she had learned that firing someone, especially if they were close to the family, was sometimes required surgery for the enterprise's overall health. Elektra's gratitude revealed itself in great work, including a new line idea that STEFFY gladly approved. "This is what Forrester is about," STEFFY explained during her approval. Talent rising on its own merits. As the sun set on another productive day, the Forrester building buzzed with activity. Sketches covered tables, textiles were artfully draped, and voices passionately discussed trends. Ivy's barren desk had been cleared, a symbol of progress. Elektra stared at it once, experiencing a mix of emotions, loss of the aunt she once idolized, but also freedom to choose her own path. She sent Will a brief text. Dinner tonight? I can't wait to tell you about the new collection. His response was fast, kind, and reassuring. Steffi locked her office and went home to Finn and the kids. The trip helped her to unwind, with the city lights blending into memories of tomorrow's meetings. There was no room for schemers, which meant more room for dreamers, artists, and people who valued trust. In Forrester Creations' Bold and the Beautiful World, where every design conveyed a story, this chapter ended with perseverance and renewal. Beauty lasted not through manipulation, but by courageous, honest choices. And when the stars appeared over Los Angeles, the promise of new collections, alliances, and possibly new difficulties lingered, waiting to unfold in the ever-changing fabric of their lives. Tension rises at Forrester Creations as Steffi reaches her breaking point, and there's no turning back. What began as a slight hunch quickly escalated into solid evidence that Ivy crossed a deadly line, one that Steffi refuses to forgive. With Elektra trapped in the midst of a building tempest, the truth finally emerges, and it's considerably messier than anyone anticipated. Steffi has always taken pride in maintaining the company's integrity and the people she trusts. However, Ivy's premeditated move against Elektra feels like a personal betrayal cloaked in ambition. When confronted, Ivy does not dispute her activities. Instead, she attempts to rationalize them, claiming that she was simply doing what was necessary to maintain her position. That answer just exacerbates Steffi's rage. Loyalty is everything to her at Forrester. Elektra, shocked yet resolute, maintains her position as the confrontation unfolds. She never anticipated Ivy would go so far, especially in a professional setting that requires trust. While the rest of the office watches in stunned silence, it becomes evident that this is more than simply a quarrel. It is a watershed moment. Without hesitation, Steffi makes the call. Ivy gets dismissed on the spot. The decision is quick, cold, and decisive. There is no place for manipulation or plans that undermine the company's foundation. Ivy's leave is anything but graceful, and her rage and astonishment are palpable as she realizes she's lost more than just a job. She's lost her status, her influence, and perhaps any possibility of forgiveness. But as the dust settles, questions begin to emerge. Is Ivy acting alone, or is there a bigger game going on? And could her departure have an even greater impact on Forrester Creations? Steffi may have closed one chapter, but the implications of her action are only now beginning to emerge. As allegiance shift and hidden agendas emerge, one thing is certain: the drama is far from over. A surprising revelation can change everything, leaving viewers wondering who will make the next move, even after justice appears to have been served.